this is a bit of a different video to the ones that I usually do, but I have 5 books here that if you read them, they will change your life for the better. And people talk about, oh, reading is boring, reading is this, reading is that. But the most successful people and the secrets to success are in books. And the reason they put them in books is because they know that people don't read them. This is really the cheat code to being successful and um, working towards like your dreams. Like they put all the game, all the sauce, all the secrets in books because they know people don't read books. And until you kind of find a passion for reading books, especially books that are surrounded by like talking about successful people and how they got to where they are, or ambition or whatever it is, reading these books will change your life for the better. I really have 3 main ones right here, but I also have 2 honorable mentions. So first, I'm gonna start off with the Bible, and you don't have to be religious to, read the Bible or whatever. But the reason I put the Bible in here because I've realized that of a lot of the books that I've read so far, and these aren't even all the books I've read. I have more, but I just don't have them on me. Of all the books I've read, they all have some sort of spiritual concept or biblical concept that comes from the Bible. And one of the books, which is probably my favorite book, not even because it has the biblical concepts, but because it just ties in that with success. I feel like the Bible is a good book in terms of how can you apply it to your life? How can you apply it to get to where you want to be? Like the Bible has so much information on, you know, the right way to do things or whatever. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I don't read my Bible as often as I probably should, but I'd say this is an honorable mention because they're just like a bunch of good concepts that are in the Bible that you can apply to your life to get to where you want to be. So that's honorable mention number one. This book, Relentless by Tim Grover, is really uh he's a personal coach that worked with Kobe Bryant, and he talks about how relentless, hence the title, how relentless Kobe was, to get to from good to great to unstoppable, which is what he ultimately was. And I feel like this is more of a mentality book in terms of like sharpening your mindset. Like if you play a sport, or yeah, if you really play a sport, this would be like a perfect book for you in terms of understanding how to, kind of, there's like 3 categories of people in life. You have good, you have great, you have unstoppable. You have unstoppable people who are legends at the top, the Cristiano Ronaldos, the Lionel Messis, the Kobe Bryants, the LeBron James, the Nipsey Hussles, the Kanye West, the Jay-Z's, the people who just are at the top and they stay there because they're just so relentless at just wanting more. That's what this book is about. So I feel like if you wanted to improve your mentality, this is definitely the book you should go for. I got this book at like 15 because I was playing sports at the time, and I feel like I didn't really understand it at that time because I was so young and I didn't really apply. I was kind of reading just to read it instead of reading to like understand and apply it to my life. But I read it over recently, and yeah, it's a good book. Now, the 3 main books, which are probably the 3 favorite books I've read so far, and I think they would genuinely change your life if you read them. And this is no promo because I mean I'm not, But so first we have Working with the Law from Raymond Hollywood, and this book was actually like a random purchase. Like I remember I got this book and another book, and I saw this book and I was like, I'll just get it. But this has turned out to be my favorite book because it's it's called Working with the Law, and it basically has 11 laws of life in terms of like for people who want to be successful or people who want to like create their dream life. This is the book because it talks about the different laws in life. The law of sacrifice, the law of attraction, the law of success, the law of compensation, the law of thinking. And not only that, it ties it in with biblical principles. And you don't have to be religious to really, kind of understand that. But this is what I mean when I say the books that I've read, they all have some sort of spiritual concept, right? So this book, I would say, has been my favorite book. I've read it twice. I'm gonna read it again. Um, yeah. So this book, I feel like the biggest takeaways from this book is just like understanding the laws, and when you understand them and you have a better comprehension of the laws of life, and how certain things play out for you to be successful, then you kind of understand that, okay, this is what I have to do to get this. Like, so for the law of attraction, it's not as simple as just wanting something. It's wanting something, working towards it, and letting the outcome and being detached from the outcome, right? In this book, it talked about like when you pray. So say you pray to be successful, or you pray to yeah, say you pray to be successful, and you're working toward that success. You want that success, but you're so gripped on to the outcome of how you want it to happen or being successful. It's not going to happen because you want it too badly. But when you pray and you work towards it, and you kind of let the outcome go, that's when it comes back to you, because you've let it go. So it has enough time and space to come back to you, and it's not attached to you. In terms of the law of compensation, you get what you put in. That's that's a law of compensation. But I don't really want to spoil these books, but this is definitely my favorite. Um Next we have The Alchemist, which a lot of people know. I feel like this one is the best because it's more like a story. It's more like a journey. And I feel like, we all have journeys in life when it comes to like what we want to do. Um, this is the most recent book I've read. Uh, just the storyline of how Santiago, had a goal of, finding the treasure in Egypt, and he was working towards going there. He was chasing his personal legend. His personal legend dream is the same thing. He was chasing that, and you know, there was so many detours for him to make it to Egypt, because he first of all, he could have stayed where he was at, being comfortable with the sheep that he had. He could have stayed comfortable with the life that he had, but he wanted more. He wanted more to life, and he was brave enough to take that step. And the most frequent phrase in this book is, when you want something, the whole universe will work in your favor to give it to you. That's the biggest thing that stuck with me from this book. That when you want something, the whole universe will conspire to work in your favor. So when I think of that, I think of, if I want to be successful, I can't lose, because the universe is on my side. Everything is working for me, and it's like, even though things would go wrong in the moment, or you face setback after setback, and it feels like it's not working, it's not gonna happen. That's all a part of the journey. That's just a test to see if like you want it badly, and you can keep the faith in what you're trying to do and the vision that you have. That's why I love this book. It's just such a story. But I'm not gonna say whether he found the treasure or not. But another big takeaway from this book is that it wasn't even the treasure wasn't even the biggest prize for him. It was about who he became on his quest to finding that treasure. He became so much more resilient. He became so much more grateful. He met so many people along the way, and he kind of just enjoyed the journey. So I feel like the three biggest takeaways from me from this book would be, when you want something, the whole universe will conspire to give it to you. Two is that whatever you want to do, it already exists in some other form. You just have to go and get it. Like, in my head, I'm already successful. I just have to go and get it, which is what I'm doing now. I just have to put in the work to get it. I'm already there. I'm already successful in some other reality, and I just have to catch up to that by putting in work. That's the second takeaway. And the third takeaway from this book is that it's not what you get. It's not the treasure that's the prize. It's who you become along the journey that makes it worth it. Lastly, Outwitting the Devil. Now these three honestly are neck and neck for like first place, but this is one of my other favorite books because this is not even like a book from a religious standpoint, but it's around the devil and Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich. I feel like this is his best book. A lot of people talk about Think and Grow Rich, but I feel like this is his best book. Definitely, it talks about his journey to he was doing he was coming up with like the reasons for why people are successful and why people fail in life, and he had his own journey to that. He had his own trial and error, times he thought things weren't going to work, but he tapped into like a higher version of his self called the other self, his other self, and that's what led him to be successful, to get to where he wanted to get. Is that he didn't let the current version of him and control him to where he was trying to go. He tapped into his higher self. He tapped into his other self to achieve what he wanted to achieve, basically. And that was the first part of the book. The second part of the book, he had an interview with the devil. If you believe it, if you don't, it doesn't even matter. But I think you should just hypothetically believe it if you don't really believe it. Um, that the interview with the devil was real, and the takeaways from that interview was basically that you know he basically had an interview with the devil, and the devil had to answer all his questions correctly. And he was asking the devil, what makes people unsuccessful? What makes people not being able to achieve their dreams? What are your tricks to stopping people from achieving their true potential? And the devil answered all his questions truthfully in terms of he he manipulates people through negative thought. He manipulates people through drifting and allowing them to like get caught up in like distractions that kind of just weigh them down and reduce their power enough to where he can take control of their mind and permanently have them. So there's two types of people in this world: drifters and non-drifters. Drifters are people who have no real sense of direction in life. They're just drifting. Non-drifters are people who have a goal of where they want to go, an ambition, a vision for their life, and they're not easily controlled. And the way this book talked about like faith and fear, it was that everybody has a positive and negative side inside them, inside their mind, and you could either tap into the faith side of it, which is the positive side of it, seeing the positive in life, or you could tap into the negative side of it, which is seeing the negative thoughts, being fearful, whatever, whatever. And that's how the devil gets to you, through the negative side. God gets to you through the positive side. And you don't have to be religious to understand that, but like I feel like that concept is just so good, because it just makes you understand that you have free will. You control how you think and kind of go about life. So I say this for sure is another great book, and I feel like if you were to read at least one of these three books, if you're ambitious and you have a goal for your life, you definitely will make progress by not only reading them but applying the principles in these books to your life, and just continuing to work to where you're trying to go. So I hope, to whoever's watching this, you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different from what I usually do, but yeah, I enjoyed making it. So thank you.